Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack Open 2015 here in Valencia, Spain. We're getting a quick look at one of our players in our next series we'll be jumping into, and a little bit off in the distance, the man that has thrown a big wrench into this group with that American flag stretched across his back. We've got Lilbow versus Bunny. They're currently in this series. For those of you tuning in, just a little bit curious as to why we're jumping into game 2. This is a really important match, a lot of implications on the line as Bunny and Lilbow are neck and neck just outside the top 16 for BlizzCon points. This is a really, really important match for both of them. And right now, Bunny is up 1-0. We did not want to not show you these games, so that is why we're going in halfway. This is a pretty big match, guys.
This is a big one. It's like one of the foreigner hopes that could make it to WCS at the end of the year. Like, they have to do well here, especially, and it's crazy that they have a chance, or one of them is going to be knocked out this early on, and they're going to be losing all these potential points that they could make.
Yeah, who would have thought Arium coming ahead 2-0 in the group, really throwing that wrench, as you were saying. It's kind of crazy, but this is the position we're in. It's the round of 64, and we're going to lose one of these guys.
Yeah, it's been especially interesting because if you try to follow the results of like Arium, he's actually too young to be allowed to play in WCS. So you don't actually know how good he is because he's not allowed to try to qualify for anything, not even, you know, like IEMs or anything like that. So he comes into this tournament, clears first place in his group. It's an elimination match. Like, you know, these guys are super close, Wax.
Yeah, I mean, outside the WCS points BlizzCon implications, this is like an unofficial title match for Best Foreigner. Like, they had that match at WCS, and that was like the moment where basically she just wrested away the title belt from Bunny in that 3-1 beatdown. And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, because in that series, it really looked like Bunny just had, I don't know, it didn't seem like he had any idea how to handle like Lilbow's style there.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things that we've also been talking about in this tournament. You know, we got to keep bringing it up. The Frenchies are on the rise in the non-Korean StarCraft community. We just saw Marine Lord 2-1 Liquid Hero in a pretty dominating fashion. You know, like,
yeah, big time.
It was really good to see, and it just keeps me more excited for these French players moving forward, especially if Lilbow is able to take this series back.
Yeah, that's right. He is down a game currently to Bunny, which is a pretty big thing as well. That's why he looks so tense when we actually got a view of him, just waiting for the next game to happen. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to getting into this.
Yeah, I just want to see what these two players can do. Can Lilbow make the big comeback and win 2 in a row? It's going to be pretty hard, especially with Bunny already up a game. Yeah,
I think the implications of this tournament so far have been pretty crazy as we wait to get into this next game. Some of the other upsets, for those of you who have not been able to catch all the action that's going on. Of course, Arium finishing first place in his group after defeating both Bunny and Lilbow. Pretty impressive on its own. We also had Harstem to Ogumiho and get out of his group in first place.
Man.
So
the year of Harstem.
So suddenly we're looking at the possibility of these first and second seeds in the round of 32. You know, we've got possibilities of like Fantasy playing Gumiho early on in that round of 32 bracket. Of course, Fantasy making it out of his group in first place. But you know, these things have been shaken up a little bit here at DreamHack already.
I mean, that's kind of the traditional DreamHack. Like, during the group stages, you always see, you know, a foreigner come out and take a series you wouldn't expect them to take. The question really is, like, how do they perform in the bracket stage when you got to play the long series, the best of 5s? But to be honest, like, at DreamHack, it's where this kind of thing always happens.
Yeah, this is the tournament where we usually get to see that extra bit of magic. But it looks like we're actually ready to go into game 2 now. So I'm going to send it off to you, Moonglade and Valdez. Let's see who's going to make it out of this group.
Welcome, guys, over here to the caster side of the desk. We're about to jump into game number 2. As Nate just mentioned, it's going to be a big one.
Oh,
Moonglade.
man,
I cannot wait. One.
Yeah, it's 2 of the best foreigners going head-to-head. At this stage of the tournament, it's kind of unheard of, but, you know, Arium just threw a wrench into the works and completely messed up their run.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen with that kid once he hits 16. He can go a bunch to all the tournaments, essentially, and really make some waves.
It's so funny that this is like the one tournament he can go to, and he just wrecks everything for WCS.
He like ruins WCS in one fell swoop. It's
their
like,
careers, their lives, Valdez.
Thanks, Arium. Up here in the top left in the red, our Protoss player. He is, of course, Lilbow.
Down a game. Looking a little frustrated here. There's Arium in the back. Down here in the bottom right, Liquid Bunny. Up a game. Has to win this one, and he's through. Very intense game.
Yeah, looking confident there, sitting down.
I wish we had an idea of what happened in game 1, just so we could, you know, follow the storyline a little bit, follow like where their mindset is at right now, what style perhaps Bunny is using this series.
Yeah, funny that we jump into Coda here for game 2, but it turns out to be the first one of this series that we're gonna watch. It's been that way so far for 3 series in a row.
It's the salmon curse, Valdez. We're just bringing it from Korea.
Whoever made this map is definitely very happy at this point in time.
Hey, it's not a bad map either. You know, I'm a fan of this map. It's generally what we see Terrans kind of have a lot of success on as well, which is, looking at it, kind of scary for Lilbow right now.
Yeah. Terrans, I'm sure, loving this map pool so far. They get a lot of very, very strong maps. Talking about Dash and Terminal, we haven't seen that yet.
Hopefully
for a good reason, I think.
we never do, Valdez. Let's just be real for 1 second here.
Being straight up in the lid. So we did see on this map already a PvT. It was Hero versus Marine Lord, Liquid Hero. Liquid Hero is really able to go with this harass heavy style. War Prisms into the main, Blink Stalkers at the third base, War Prism going to the natural, and Marine Lord really couldn't handle it.
Yeah, he fell apart early, and from there, like, he just couldn't get it back. And Hero was overly aggressive that game as well. You know, like, when we think about it, like, he was so aggressive. And both game 1 and 2, and in game 3, not as much, but still, like, just really great play from Marine Lord dealing with that.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy he gets through because, as you mentioned in the interview, he's really strong against Zerg. He wants to hit Zergs, but he gets through the Protoss, which he said was his worst matchup. So it's really going to give him a decent shot as long as he can hit some Zergs. I mean, there's more Zergs here than Terrans, at least.
Yeah, certainly a lot of strong Zergs. But looking at this game, we are seeing that Reaper opening from Bunny. Getting a scout early with the SCV as well. Get an idea of what's going on here.
Yeah, Lilbow on the other side of things is playing pretty standard as well, going for the Zealot here, just in case of an eBay block. 2 probes coming down here, trying to block that from happening.
Yeah, smartly so. And as Wax Angel did add in earlier, like the last time these guys played a best of 5, it was Lilbow that was winning that 3-1.
Yeah.
So no doubt Bunny really went back and kind of figured out what he did wrong that series, and so far up a game. See if he's actually fixed it up and can throw it out for a 2-0 here.
And I think he definitely can, as long as he plays that very drop-heavy style. This is kind of a hard map to get all your units in place to deal with that. Mothership Core, in the meantime, popping out just in time to deal with this Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper just kind of getting a scout. What he can. No doubt knows that there's a Nexus down there as well. He's trying to get around here. Not really a Sim City that we usually do see from Korean players, mostly. We usually see like a nice block off with the Cyber and Gateway and Pylon to stop that Reaper getting towards the back.
Yeah, it almost looks like he tried to make one up towards the top, but that's not totally sealed. So a bit unfortunate there. But after all, he's going to hold this off with the Mothership Core at least. Just being annoying for now is Liquid Bunny. Once that Stalker comes out, should be able to force the Reaper out of the base.
Yeah, I'm not really finding too much. I guess he knows where the pylons are. The back one's going to be the tricky one to scout. So we do see that Twilight already going down there now that the Stalker is out.
It'll be very interesting to see him go for like fast blink on this map. It's not too bad. You can blink straight into the main and totally forego trying to, you know, just push it in towards the front of the natural at that choke.
Yeah, there's a lot of avenues. We do see this the Blink Stalker play come out on these kind of maps like King Sejong Station as well. And, these backdoor maps where there's potential for multiple angles of harassment. Plus, you know, it's going to help out in shutting down these drops, which we're going to see pretty early on from Bunny. Already making that starport now.
Very, very fast blink coming in here from Lilbow. To be expected with that Twilight Council being dropped so fast. See what kind of pressure he decides to put on. Here come the first 2 Hellions coming across the map. We saw Marine Lord not able to do too much damage with this, but he got a decent scout at least.
Yeah, maybe this time. I mean, there's no block on the ramp for starters, which is what we saw Hero deal with it as. Just one Stalker out in the open. Maybe he'll force the vote on overcharge if there's enough energy.
I think the Hellions should just be able to get straight in the main if they want to. They're going to go for some economic damage instead here at the natural.
Oh, they could find a few, actually. Not really any micro, no splitting. Some pretty weak ones.
Looks like he gets 3 in total. At the same time, a Reaper in the back door.
Might get a couple more.
And he gets the full scout at the same time, which is the very important thing. Sees the 2 extra gateways to blink on the way.
So 4 workers go down, and look at that. A tank out this early on as well.
Yeah, and not just one tank, Moonglade. There is a second tank on the way.
Yeah, we're seeing that 1-1-1 style, which is very rare in this matchup these days compared to a lot of others. So mostly Bios is the most common one, but this is really interesting coming from Bunny.
Yeah, well, at least it's going to be pretty efficient at dealing with this blink play, especially getting the bunkers in perfect position, in perfect time. I think Bunny should be totally safe to hold any kind of pressure off here.
He's certainly read this, and Lilbow is one of these Protoss that are very aggressive, and no doubt probably expected something like this on this kind of map as well. So very smart choice. Now seeing him going into Colossus behind this as well. That Robo be going down.
Nice little pylon placement there from Lilbow. I don't think he's going to place much over there. It's just going to be a pretty forward warping point. Although he is keeping the probe over there, so there is potential, I suppose. Maybe a Dark Shrine if he wants to be, you know, incredibly sneaky.
That would be pretty sneaky, Valdez. I don't know if that might be a little too close.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see him do it, but...
Yeah, well, maybe it's going to be another pylon down here. Just slowly creeping them a little bit forwards as he can, and so we can go for that maybe Blink Stalker harassment soon. Just playing very defensively from here, and 2 Forges going down. So Lilbow does want to take it to the late game. He wants to slow things down, go into Colossus from here now that the Blink got scouted. Double upgrades.
Just kind of transition into a bit of a standard CJ hero play. Just get your double upgrades, get your Colossi out. Not a bad idea. You will have those extra gateways that you got pretty fast when you were trying to go for that early aggression. You can get some Stalkers out regardless.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the thing is as well is like, is this too greedy for what we see Bunny be doing right now? You know, he's going for that style. He's adding in tanks. He's adding in that Raven as well. Vikings are being made. He can go for a very scary timing when the time comes. Maybe it's going to be a little too greedy going for these double upgrades and Colossus at the same time. We'll see actually when Bunny wants to be aggressive.
Yeah. The other really cool part of this build, which we do always see with this build, is the Raven add-in. It's so strong at denying the Protosses any kind of vision. Usually the Protosses want to get out a lot of observers to stop the drops, just for some decent vision, not to get too pulled out of position. But the Raven is already going to snipe one. And we do see that Lilbow at this time is not making any further observers, just going to make straight Colossi as he does need them.
Yeah, just going to rely on these Stalkers in the middle of the map to kind of identify what's coming his way. He did scout the tanks. He probably knows exactly what's going on here, which is maybe even why we are seeing him Chrono Boost out the Charge Lot upgrade. You know, he wants to make sure he has that available so when the engagement comes, he can try and tie up those tanks.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. You know, maybe after like 3 Colossi, he transitions into some Immortals as well to deal with the high number of tanks. But I'm also curious to see how far Liquid Bunny is going to go with that. By the way, nice delay here on the 3rd base. Liquid Bunny trying to put it down there in position. Yeah. But yeah, we do see Bunny at this point kind of transitioning straight into Bio. No more tanks coming out. Maybe going to stop at around 3.
Yeah, that's probably a safe choice. We'll find out soon. Exactly how many. I think he's like 3, 4. But he's certainly stopped at this point, just going back into the bio medivacs. And
he's actually got 5.
More
than even
one in the main base looks like it's there to defend against any sort of Blink Stalker, perhaps counter-attacking. But yeah, moving out just a little bit, maybe putting a presence on the map. Lilbow identifies this, but Lilbow is still sitting on 2 base. He's still preparing himself in case this comes his way. And we're seeing a lot of Zealots. They do have charge. Just Colossus range is a little bit late here.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. If they engage at this
good
point in time, he's really going to want that, especially against all these tanks.
Yeah, that's actually a big problem here. Nice scans go down. He's going to set these tanks up in a pretty decent position around this ramp.
Some Stalkers running into some tank fire already. One of them getting very, very low. Only 1 Viking out of the map right now. He's making 2 at a time. He's going to need a lot of them to deal with this decently high number of Colossi. 3 of them already out on the map.
Now it gets a little bit tricky, Valdez, because he's setting up his tanks in a fantastic position, and especially with no Colossus range, there's no way he can try and snipe them. But the engagement is what really matters at this point.
Yeah. Did eventually finish up that range here. We do see, it looks like he's going to try to come from 3 different angles.
This is a pretty exposed Colossus. Can't go too far forwards, though. We do see Lilbow's position himself in 3 different angles to attack this army.
He actually lost that Colossus, but here we go. Lilbow is going to push in here and try to go for all these tanks. The tank's kind of in the front, and a bunch of really great time warps coming down on the entire army.
Yeah, slowing down all those Marines. And that is mostly Marines as well. They're not going to last very long against these charge lots that do have the 1-1 upgrades. Everything kind of getting wiped out at this point. We do see medivacs. Medivacs are fleeing, but there's Vikings trying to DPS down these remaining Colossus.
Yeah, the target fire not the best here. Both of them may even survive. One does just barely go down. The other one is so low. With just a slightly better targeting here, he may have been able to get it, but here he finally gets it. the small force of Bio.
Yeah, still kiting these Zealots. He's actually going to run out of steam here. Do you see Lilbow warping in some stuff from the sides, though? 2 Archons and some a number of Zealots.
Yeah, really comes back to that fantastic pylon placement from so early on in the game. There it is, it's still there.
Yep.
And that's how you get that great reinforcement potential. Lilbow wants to put an end to this game. He's coming up the natural ramp.
Oh, man, this is a bad place for Bunny to be. He's going to have to pull the SCVs, but he's pulling them against Archons as well. Not a good place to be. It looks like he's going to try and engage carefully here. Big stim comes in.
Coming down, but just so much Protoss at this point in time. The Archon getting into the mix, doing that splash damage against those SCVs. Getting a decent position here is Bunny, but he just doesn't have that much to deal with this Protoss army.
It looks like he might be able to fight it off. There's a lot of bio remaining, and don't forget that Bunny is up a base. He's had that orbital for quite some time, and there were some Zealots nearby, but not choosing to harass them economically either. He's going to beat him back for now.
Yeah, the supply difference you see here, guys, is that it's because Bunny only has 23 workers at this point in time. He's got a pretty strong army, actually, against what Lilbow has.
Yeah, that army supply is huge.
Lilbow's desperately trying to get out some AoE at this point in time. He's got 2 Colossi.
Just kind of lacking in the buffering right now for them. He's got a number of Zealots to the left side here, and looks like he's going to fish for a big drop. Going to be heading towards that main base. We do see Blinkstalkers looking for something. And that third only just finishing now for Lilbow, so he's going to even up on bases, but there's a lot of potential here for a drop to just deny it once again.
Yeah, he definitely could put on the pressure here if he does see that opening. He's
Oh,
preparing for it.
He's looking for it here. That is a scary drop. Going for even the natural or the third.
He's
That's
going
enough
into
units.
a bunch of stalkers, but he's got so many units dropping in here to the third. And Lilbow's army kind of separated at this point in time.
Everything kind of getting DPS down here. The Stalkers moving back. One Colossus.
Oh, and it
doesn't get
survives.
sniped.
It survives,
Somehow.
and there's so many Zealots in the front to tank.
Oh,
GG,
wow.
Lilbow takes game number 2. Unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable, Valdez. Somehow. Very close game. He identified in decent enough time the composition we did see from Bunny. Those tanks as well.
Yeah.
Despite having a good position, the upgrade advantage for Lilbow and just the positional, those great time warps as well, just kind of ended up crushing that army completely.
Yeah, Lilbow looking strong there in that game number 2. We're going to be jumping into game number 3 very shortly here to decide who is going to make it to the round of 32. As we mentioned before, so many WCS points on the line for both these guys. They're both so close. To qualifying for BlizzCon.
Yeah, they're sitting just outside that top 16, and obviously getting far in this tournament is going to do them so much so much good.
Yeah. You know, round of 32 is only the first spot, and having this rough of a series this early on is definitely going to put a toll on these two guys. You know, both very strong players,
yeah.
And you could see it here. I mean, the games are very even.
Fighting to be the foreigner hope as well. Like, these guys are neck and neck. They keep trading series. No doubt, Lilbow claiming the last one in that best of 5 in WCS, but this time around, you know, it is very close. Very evenly skilled players.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get into this third game. It looks like it is going to be Iron Fortress, the map for game number 3.
Oh, yeah. We are seeing that kind of a theme behind for this matchup as well.
Yeah. Don't get to see many of the new maps. I'm very curious, actually, to know what the first map was. May have been one of the newer maps.
Might have been. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Could have been.
One day we'll find out, Valdez, but
One
not
day
today.
we'll find out and let you guys know.
Certainly not Dash and Terminal, I'll tell you that much.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, we're about to jump into game 3 here, guys. Definitely tell your friends to tune into the stream. We got some great games coming at you live here from DreamHack.
That's right, Valdez. We made it to DreamHack, mate.
Yeah?
We finally made it. It's good to be here.
Yeah?
It's really fun to cast these foreign players, you know, once in a while as well. You know, it's great to see them. And there's Bunny getting ready. Very stressful time. Can't really express how stressful this is. This is like not only their tournament live, which that means they've traveled all the way to Valencia and now they're out of the tournament in day 1. But you know, there's so much WCS points on the line. No doubt that both these players can make it pretty deep as well. You know, there's certainly if they can get past this hurdle, the best foreigner they're playing against each other, if they get past this, they probably have a pretty easy sort of ride to the top 16 at least.
Well, you know, we'll see who they face.
Unless they get like an unlucky sort of Korean bracket, maybe.
It's possible. You know, a lot of the Korean players, the strongest ones to get first out of their group. So if they get out here in second, they may even have a tough ride there in the round of 32.
Yeah, or even if they run into Arium again, man, like maybe he's just going to knock him out.
Guy just punches him out once again. Makes it look easy. Anyway, guys, we're going to jump into game number 3 right away on Iron Fortress down here in the bottom left in the teal this time, the Protoss player, it is Lilbow.
Down here in the bottom right, we do have blue Terran player Bunny from Team Liquid. Losing their last game. Interesting style, interesting composition, but Lilbow had the answer to it.
Getting the camera in his face, there's Bunny. I'm sure he doesn't even realize it.
I'm sure he
so
does, and I'm sure he's really angry about it. These things, Valdez.
Well, you could speak from a former pro player's standpoint. I'm sure you know.
Anyone next to me or near me while I'm trying to play a game of StarCraft, man.
Oh, yeah. But I'm sure some people are more sensitive to that than others well.
I was certainly...
You're a little sensitive for a game.
I was a little sensitive boy, man. Anyone that got near to me while I was trying to micro...
You just hiss at them?
Yeah, like, get away from my mouse. Don't touch my mouse pad.
Yeah, man. Interesting, where those guys are playing from. You can definitely get a lot of people watching from behind all those games, just to add to the extra pressure if you weren't already fighting for your possible BlizzCon chances here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's...
you might as well just have 5 people standing right behind you, like, looking,
That's true. Well, here we go again. Got the gas going on for Bunny here. See what his choice is going to be. This is not a bad map to go Hellions on once again. We did see it when Marine Lord played against Liquid Hero. It is because it is such an open map that it does make a lot of sense. You can go for run-bys. You can kind of take the map control for some time.
Yeah, looks like Liquid Bunny going to get a bit unlucky with the scout here going all the way up to the top right, and maybe even to the top left. It's going to be a while before he gets the information. Maybe he'll send the Reaper to the left side of the map. Yeah,
look at that. It's going to be a Reaper to open things up. So going to go for the scout here. Let's see if he transitions early, maybe into Hellions, or maybe he'll just play a normal game. Necessarily doesn't have to play that style.
And look at this out of Lilbow. He's getting that second gas very, very early. We're going to see some early tech out of this guy. No fast expand on this map, it turns out. It's a pretty big map, but very interested to see what he's going to go for. Only putting 2 guys in the gas there.
Yeah.
Not going to go full gas mining just yet. Going to have 5 of 6.
Yeah, still, he's playing that greedy style. He's going to try for early Nexus as well.
Looks like he's just going for a very fast Mothership core. And already rallied, it looked like, in the correct direction. Or actually, he's just going to come out here and defend for now.
Yeah, Reaper's going to find this probe as well, so no scouting for him. Once again, a nice SimCity this time around. Something we didn't see last game from Lilbow. He's going to completely block off this Reaper from scouting at least the top side.
Yeah, maybe just a bit easier on this map to get that wall up. And yeah, totally denies the scout behind the minerals here.
Ooh, it's going to be a Stargate for this as well. Reaper's looking for it. It's not going to find a way in there.
It's going to be pretty rough. At this point, you definitely would want to try to even sacrifice the Reaper at this point to try to get some scouting down. You really want to know what the Protoss is going for. So many options.
He poked in hard there. He went right up to the pylon, but still couldn't find a way in. Yeah. He could sack that Reaper, but at the same time, it does completely give up map control or even map scouting. He doesn't have a chance to see anything that comes out. Any probes that might want to come out. Gets really close once again.
The positioning on that Stargate is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's just out of the range.
Literally just out of range.
Just barely.
Very well thought out. And it's going to be that Oracle.
That's going to be a fast Oracle.
Oh, and what do we have from Bunny currently to kind of answer for this? He doesn't know exactly what it is.
He's got 4 Marines out on the map at this point in time. But even a Mothership core, if you send that over, looks like he's just going to send the Oracle for now and try to get a bunch of damage down. We do have Widow Mines also coming out on the map here for Liquid Bunny. We'll see where he decides to place those.
Yeah, let's see if he puts it in a good place. He tries to hide it behind a refinery or in the mineral line. It's going to keep him alive for a little bit longer, keep those SCVs alive. And there it is. Great placement for it. It's a little bit obvious, though, if an SCV isn't mining at that patch.